Chilling, man. Blessed. Everything is everything.
Everything is everything, baby. Welcome to the Mental Margarita Show, man. We got Special Ed, the legendary, the architect, the lyricist.
Building.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
We in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
We are definitely in the building. I got it made. I am the magnificent. Think about it. Come on, let's move it. I'm telling you, you made such an impact in hip hop. And I first want to just thank you. It's an absolute honor to have you on the show.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. It's just been a journey for me over the past 30 years to, just give my life force to this and to have it have some meaning at the end of it all. So really, that's what this is about for me at this stage of the game. Is just really about all this having meaning and meaning something to everyone else, not just a song. You know what
exactly,
I mean?
Exactly. And I think it's so important, for the audience that is tuning in. You started very early. I mean, your first album, Youngest in Charge, says it all pretty much.
Yeah, that was some lyrics from a song called Taxin', and Howie kind of took that. Yeah, shout outs to Hitman Howie T, man, my mentor and producer from day one. So basically he took that phrase that I said in a rap and was like, you shouldn't call it Youngest in Charge. So that's where we got that from. I'm humongous, but the youngest in charge. That was from Taxin'.
That was it. That was nice.
I was navigating, just at an early age, trying to figure it all out, but aggressively, because I wanted to get it accomplished. I had to be heard. I had to be out there. And I feel like I always have something to say, which is what drives me to this platform, the hip hop.
Yeah,
media.
I feel the same way. Yeah, because me listening to your music, it was well, like, you put thought in what you said. It was like listening to Rakim. It was like every single line was well crafted. You weren't just messing around, just saying any and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I thought that was really cool.
It was more so. It was also more so about the overall message than even if it was a joke or a pun or a story, whatever it is, it had to be intelligent and witty and make sense, all of we weren't rapping all about the destruction of the next person.
Right.
It was more so about the upliftment of ourselves and others. It was setting an example. It was actually manifesting greatness, manifesting wealth, manifesting, just positivity. And that's what we were into. And I think the industry just got overwhelmed with darkness.
Yeah, I know.
So much need of it, man. And the thirst is the thirst of darkness.
The thirst of darkness right there, man.
Yeah.
It really did, because like, even in those times when, the streets were real in those times, just like they're real now. But what do you think has happened as far as the music is concerned? Like, you look at P&B Rock, just recently Takeoff passing away. What are some of the solutions you think that we have to figure out to make this culture better? Because our people are really looking ridiculous.
Well, it's a state of mind. It's a mentality. We have to be able to go out there and speak off stage and make sure that we send a clear message that this is for entertainment purposes. And we're not here to harm each other. If we're expressing our art, it is not intended for misuse. It is not intended for the listener to assume the character role and become some sort of op. You understand? That's not what this is. The hip hop was made and put here for us to manifest wealth, power, and enable us to grow as a community.
Wow.
And what corporate has done is taken the dark side of the lyrics and lyricism and focused on that totally. So it's like you're watching a TV, but everything on TV is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Instead of having comedy,
Right.
instead of having documentary, instead of having just education, you want it all to be dark horror.
It's so crazy. Yeah, that's
That's
so true.
within the music industry. And to be honest, I would go as far as to say that there are hate crimes being perpetrated because these labels, companies, advertisers, sponsors are all endorsing, paying for, and supporting hate crimes.
Yeah.
Because the messages in the music are directly threats and violent acts committed upon a specific race, group, or culture, right? So
Yeah.
we're dealing with hate crimes right now on a large scale. So that's
Mm.
really the bottom line, man. Like and until we recognize that and start pressing charges and filing charges against people, then they're going to continue to spew anti-Semitic hate crimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like what you said, press charges.
Oh yeah, mandatory, mandatory. So anybody that's maybe checking this out or whatever, there's a lot of work to get done.
There is. Now let's talk about some of the works that you have planned. Because I know that, first of all, I know that special ed is one that's very you're an entrepreneur, you're a hustler, you always are trying to spread your wings, financially as well as spiritually. What are
Mhm.
some of the things that you got going on right now?
Well, I kind of stick to the tried and true, the things that I know that work to be, safe. I'm not into too much of the gambling. I'm not into too much of the excessive market activity and losing and winning and losing and jumping off a roof.
Right.
I'd rather stick to safe, steady income. So I still stick to, real estate. I stick to transportation. I stick to the music and entertainment industry, which is
Mhm.
ongoing and the number one export of the United States of America.
Mm.
Yeah, so trillions of dollars in, and we are a community without organization. So uh, I just became a member of the Hip Hop Alliance, formed by Curtis Blow, Chuck D,
Wow.
KRS, Dougie Fresh. So basically, what we're doing now is bringing together the entire hip hop community in unity and in the attempts to form a union. So just like
Thank
uh,
you.
every other occupation and every other industry has unions, hip hop is now forming a union. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now as we speak. We're fighting for fair wages. We're fighting for retirement, for health benefits, things of that nature, uh, life insurance, like just all the things that, because we work and we're a multi-trillion-dollar industry for the last 3 decades steady.
Yeah.
So we have no organization of any kind or really ownership for that matter. So we're taking a look at all of that and we're reassessing the situation. And the fact is, between entertainment, sports, and you know, entertainment is film and television and all that as well. That is this country's only export and the biggest thing they have is us.
Yeah. That's
The
true.
biggest thing that this country has is us. We generate the trillions of dollars that that this country makes. And they privatized a lot of this country. They privatized this industry. It's monopolized pretty much. So it's just about looking at the facts, seeing how do we move from here, and do we enslave ourselves willingly? What are we doing here? Are we paying
Wow.
attention to what is happening? And how do we get out of the bondage and the situation that we're in today? We face with a lot of situations like being held in captivity with our publishing, our copyright, our
It's
names.
crazy.
Our identities are being taken from us and owned by corporate entities who use it in any way that they see fit. So we have to look at all of those things,
Yeah,
and just,
that is so true. I mean, you see what LL Cool J is doing with Rock the Bells, and I thought that was a really cool, movement to try to get some artists, recognized again, and for people to really understand what this culture is all about, and the purpose of why it was built. And it's good to hear that coming from you, man. I'm glad that you're part of that.
oh, absolutely. And hiphopalliance.org, you can sign up. And also that started because of my organization, seal. Well, Hip Hop Alliance was already in existence, but what I did was I brought some things together, and the unification of artists from the East Coast, West Coast, down South, Midwest, everybody, we're all coming together. We have a ton of artists that have joined, that are joining weekly, that are attending our meetings, that are in our committees for planning, etc., education. Because first of all, we have to understand where we are.
That's right.
So we're understanding where we are, how we got there, and how to get out of there, so that we can get a fair shot at our ownership at ourselves. We are the ones generating the revenue. We should share in what's going on, and we're not sharing in a fair way. You know what I mean? So it's just about growth. Right now, we're growing as a community. It took some time, but we're older now. Hip hop is 50 years old.
50 years, the anniversary, baby.
Amen. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with growth.
Yeah, it's okay, for us to be mature.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not running around like we crazy.
Oh no. And as far as me, as far as me, I've been dedicating more of my time to my organization, SEAL. It's SEAL, Special Ed Arts and Literacy.
Okay.
SEALartsandliteracy.org. You can go on there and see what we do. We deal with a lot of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Wow.
Yes. And
nice.
We have programs that we have already participated in. I've been active for years with other organizations, but I just recently formed my own organization, and we have been hit the ground running. We have all kinds of things up and running right now, as well as this Hip Hop Alliance partnership, and the efforts that we're doing with the hip hop community.
Wow, that's fantastic.
As well as the children and the arts and literacy and all of that stuff, the engineering.
Well, I mean, we have to pay focus with the children. I mean, because that's where some of the problems stem, It's
all of the problems, because that's the problem now, is the children out here killing each other.
Going crazy.
It's not old people shooting each other. It's the kids killing each other. And we have to speak to them candidly as adults, as parents, as loved ones, because if we don't, no one else will. No one cares for them the way we do. So we have to speak to them. And they're only going to listen if we stand together and speak to them together, because no one listens to just their parents.
That's right.
Who does that?
Right.
Okay, so we have to come together as a community and speak to these children together, and so that they can understand that what they're doing is not in line with our ancestry, not in line with our genetics, and not in line of how we are built.
That's right.
Okay, we've been definitely diffused, diluted, and confused. And we're imitating art at this point.
Yeah.
So instead of imitating art, we need to imitate being righteous and being upstanding beings.
That's right.
is where we at. So we're trying to just, change the mind state. That's where it all starts, in the mind, how things are perceived, how you look at it. And, a lot of these kids grew up. You got to think now, hip hop is 50 years old. So let's take it back. They started to go into the dark energy and try to promote the violence in rap since NWA.
Exactly. I was
So
about to say that. Yeah.
that began 30 years ago. Not saying they were the first people making gangster rap or anything violent, but when it was accentuated, focused on, prioritized, and uplifted by the media and the government, was at that point.
At that point, yeah.
With
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
with that presidential letter.
Yes.
So boom, that started 30 years of programming, 30 years of conditioning,
Oof.
and 30 years of implementing strategic
Keyword.
influence and mind fuck. Excuse my language, but mind control. You hear me? So
For real.
that's where we at with it. 30 years later, we have to clean up what has been done. The two generations of people, teens and kids, and growing up in hip hop, growing up with this agenda, growing up with this focus, growing up with this mindset to imitate art. So that's where we at now, and it's just about, a little snap in the fingers, waking up, stating some facts, and getting us all to understand where we're at and how we got here.
All those things, which are very important.
Yes, sir. So that's my mission, and that's what I'm doing at SEAL, is arts and literacy, teaching these children properly. I don't want them coming into hip hop with the highest mortality rate of any occupation in the country. So being a hip hop artist is more dangerous than being a cop.
Yeah.
Being really a firefighter, being a construction worker.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. So we want to change the mindset of our community so that they understand that we didn't start rapping to be targets. We wanted to empower ourselves, better ourselves, help our families, and help our futures. Financial stability is what we sought. We didn't seek the nonsense.
No.
So it got skewed amongst the time span of the last 30 years or so. Because I remember there was a message. And the message is one of the songs that got that one of the songs that got me inspired to speak better and to have a message myself.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because before, rap was really just a fun, kiki, laugh, this battle, have fun. Yeah. But then it got conscious. And when it got conscious, I think is when we all raised our consciousness.
Yeah.
And now it's time to raise it. And now it's time again to raise our consciousness once again. Yeah. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Amen.
Special Ed, I appreciate you so much. Now, before we leave, is there anything musically that you're doing right now?
Yes, we actually getting ready to put together a new project. We have gathered up the icons and legends and teams from all the movements of the years, from the Stop the Violence movement, self-destruction, and to the West Coast, to all the players involved. So we're putting together a project that will speak to what we are professing.
Wow, that's fantastic, man.
Amen.
You know what? I appreciate you, man, so much. And I'm just so happy that you're continuing to do all these wonderful things. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. It's in South Beach.
Right. But, we still here, man. God willing, we blessed. You know what I mean? So just keep doing what you do. And you have a platform now to kind of get things up and running and out there and get the message heard,
Absolutely, man. We got to definitely collaborate in the future. I got Bring you out to Vegas.
Yes, sir. No problemo. Anytime the people are ready for the truth, I'm right here.
It's definitely a city that needs it.
Amen. Yes, sir.
All right, man. God bless you. You have a good one, man.
All right, one love.
One love.
And I am with Hannah G. And let me tell you something. This is an amazing opportunity for someone that's got a lot of good stuff that's going on. She's well respected in the music industry. She has supported independent artists. That's her thing. And what else? She also has held events, given awards to artists. I mean, you just done it all. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm feeling good. It's Saturday.
Yes.
And I'm really, I came across you and, you being in the PR game, I found it really interesting because, it takes a lot to do what you do. But before we even get into that, give me some background. What is your work background, your educational background?
Sure. Well, how far back in the education do you think I should go?
Let's be collegiate.
All right. So I got my degree in media in from Hunter College, the City University of New York.
Wow.
And I didn't want to go to grad school because in journalism, they say that's a waste of time to get your master's degree because the publications that you work for are going to strip you of what you learned and retrain you for their publications. So, and then after that, I kind of was in and out of the corporate world. I was doing marketing and administrative work. I also did an internship at CBS News. I did some work Fox. And what I learned is that everybody in the world is trying to work at those big networks. And so it can be very competitive and draining.
Yeah.
And I eventually just took everything that I learned and started my company, where I've been ever since 2006.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and I mean, I can imagine the competition being so grueling.
Yes.
So that's wild. So you decided, okay, I'm going to start my own thing up. Why was that the main reason why you decided to go into business for yourself, or were there other reasons as well?
No, I was really dedicated and I was heartbroken that you could love a job and not be able necessarily to do well in it, because when you're working with other people, they can control your livelihood, even if you're extremely dedicated and good at what you do. You just don't have control over certain politics, and it was heartbreaking. And I had a lot of passion for what I wanted to do. And in working for myself, even though times can get tough and financially challenging, at least you have a sense of security, and stability. Right. I've got friends who were laid off for one reason or another and couldn't survive independently. And I feel like you've got to always be able to support yourself.
That's important.
Yes.
And I think that was a really good move. So what are some of the mistakes that people make, that work, working in this field? What are some of the mistakes that you've seen that you can give the audience?
Okay, so that answer, that could be answered in so many different ways depending on the industry. So in my industry, if you are a marketing professional, there's a lot of things that you can do wrong, but if it's not the same thing as the things you could do wrong as an artist.
Right.
So I don't know how specific you want
let's talk about your industry, and then we'll do the flip side with the artists.
Okay, well, I guess people in my industry, a lot of people, I feel like they don't hone the necessary experience, and you'll see a lot of people who really don't have certain skill sets and trying to promote that they are something they're not, whereby taking advantage of people. They can't do certain things. And so sometimes people's eyes are just, or yeah, their eyes are bigger than what they really can do. I mean, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's not the right analogy.
No, but
let's
it's
put it
good. I
like PR is not really that lucrative, but it can be, you know. And so sometimes people get gassed off the kind of prices that they can charge and what they might be able to get from an artist, but, you know, knowing that they're not able, they don't have the skill sets. And, you know, that's something that whether you're an artist or you're a small business, you really have to use discernment. You can't just go by who people say they are or who they know, you know. You have to do your research. I mean, there should be a red flag that goes up if someone doesn't have a website, you know, if they don't have a portfolio, you know, a well done portfolio to show, things like that.
Right.
So,
now from the artist.
Yeah. No, artists make mistake by having middlemen. Middlemen can really mess things up for them.
You don't need any middlemen.
I mean, people who are your manager or your assistant or whatever, it's good to have support, you know, but a lot of times you have these yes men and not enough for reals in your corner.
Right.
To tell you the time. So people can block their blessings, miss out on a lot of good opportunities by giving too much control over to partners.
Yes. I've gone through that in my lifetime.
How?
But you know what? I've managed to bounce back, and I think that I'm doing pretty well. Now, some of the lessons that you've learned in business as overall, what are some of the lessons that you've learned that are dear to your heart?
To maintain professionalism with everybody. Don't ever let your guard
I like that. Ever.
Yeah. Because sometimes people can get too comfortable. Even something as, you know, sometimes people think that language is minute, you know, you can curse in certain situations. You must try to maintain professionalism in all settings. And, you know, always show respect. You always try to keep things on a high level because everybody has their own idiosyncrasies. You know, there's a saying like, we're all crazy. So you have to maintain that basic respect for all people, and always try to be professional. So let me see, what is another thing that I've learned? Rest is important, taking time to rest. Some people like to be busy all the time, on the go, and they think that it's important to always be seen working, and you can really burn the candle both sides, you know, and burn yourself out. So you have to take that time out to recoup and rest.
Yes, that's really important. I totally agree. I feel like I'm going to take a nap after this.
Good.
So what is needed in today's music industry?
Today's music industry, you know, I was doing some research, some history research recently, and really have formed the opinion that artists in the 60s and in the 50s in particular were just really well behaved. I don't know what happened, but it seems like all decency has gone out the window in the last few decades. Oh my goodness.
Tell me about it.
So your question again was, what artists need to do differently? Was that the question?
The question was, what's needed in today's music industry?
Oh, I apologize. Artist development. That's what I meant to say. I digressed. You know, artists used to be really well put together. Some of our best music was created in those eras. And now it's like, you know, there's so much sampling, so much copying, and you're not really getting the full value of what people have to offer.
Yeah,
So we need more artist development. I think that these record companies really don't have the budget or
Right.
the concern about any of that. They just want to make the money. But, we need that. That's important.
It is. It's very important. And, it's sad because the music industry has gotten like that. And it's so oversaturated with so much trash. It's sad.
Yes, yes.
We need some. Oh, okay. I got a question. Wow. This is a good one. What are some of your favorite artists that you like?
Old or new?
Let's go old.
All right. I'm going through a phase where right now I'm listening to a lot of music from the 70s and the 80s that was sampled that we don't even know about. When we listen to a song on the radio, we give all the credit to that artist. Like, they're just the greatest thing. When they stole that whole song from a whole nother time, from a whole nother artist that did all the work, they just put the lyrics down. But Smokey Robinson wrote all his material.
I love Smokey. Oh my gosh. That's like the best songwriter of our time,
Yes. And so many, you know what's his name? Bob James, I think. He did so many production wise. He produced so much music that has gone into hip hop. So I really appreciate him as a producer.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know where to begin. So many artists I just love, past and present.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you know what? We love you, and you have been absolutely amazing. How do they follow you if someone's interested in using your services?
Well, HannahAssociates.com, HANAASSOCIATES.com. I can also be followed on Instagram at Hannah Associates PR. And also Ms. Hannah G, MZHANAG. I write a lot of articles under that name, and that would direct people right to my socials.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. And you know what? Our Saturday is wonderful, and our Sunday morning is going to be even more wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, maybe collaborating in the near future.
Yeah, sounds good. Anytime, give me a holler. I look forward to seeing Mental Margarita. I love that name, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. And you have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Wes Acton, Dr. Professor Genius of Life, the Universe, and Everything. Teachers. I respect the profession, and there are good teachers. But have you noticed, any of you who are parents, that when your child isn't learning something, somehow it's the parent's fault? I mean, I don't go to the teachers and say, you know something, your student didn't get the chores done. Your student didn't get the dishes put away right. Your student didn't sweep the floor. And your student talked back to me, the father. So why is it that, in their class for hours a day, why is it my fault when I'm out making a living to put a roof over their head and food in their belly? But for some reason, they have the kids for half the day. And not for once, they said, okay, let's break down this word. This is how you spell it. Okay, this is how you do it again. Okay, this is how you do it again. But for some reason, it's my fault. When the children come home, they should be home, not more school. Because tell me if that doesn't burn everyone out. I bet any of you, the teachers today, when they were kids, they didn't like it either. But for some reason, it's the parents' fault. Now, some parents, yes. But it can't be every single parent's fault. So, teachers, why aren't my children doing their chores? And why aren't my children remembering to buckle their seatbelts? Can you answer that for me? And why aren't they putting their clothes away? Yeah, see how it just doesn't work? Have a good day.
You're starstruck, here's a sprinkle of the stardust. Hold your champagne glass and your cigars up. See the guys with mob ties drive the cars up. Bright lights, most nights they buy the bars up. Candy coated Chevy cars on the highway. It's Frankie baby, it's on and this is my way. Dean Martin at the Sands this Friday. With Sammy Davis, here's a little hint where I stay. The city shines like Liberace's mansion. And you know Elvis had the whole city dancing. Showgirl silhouette steady prancing. Shout out to June, just the Copa Girls anthem. Legal gambling, yeah, that would tempt me. It's Sin City, holy water couldn't cleanse me. And Wayne Newton had the crowd in a frenzy. Live at the Stardust, the seats never empty. Now if you having a good time in Las Vegas, at the count of 3, I want to hear you scream, Viva Las Vegas. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Viva Las Vegas! And Main Street was the official local beer stop. Enough slot machine noise to make your ears pop. The cigarette girls walking souvenir shops, while Red Fox had them laughing till the tears drop. Before Steve got a win at the right time, Sig and Roy had a long circus lifeline. Now the Strip's got a lot of neon light signs. Would you agree there's not another city like mine? Years later, Mayweather got the city hot, and everybody in your city with a TV watch. Celine Dion got celebrities at every spot. Boys the Man even got Jenny on the block. Now here's the culture shot, the desert's got a hockey scene. Golden Knights, yeah, the #1 hockey team. And we even got the Raiders repping Vegas now. So get the champagne, it's time to bring the waiters out.